Hello everyone, my name is Nolan Johnson, and this is the second part of our presentation, Standards for Technology and Teaching Foreign Languages. Now, just as there is no single degree, certificate, or licensure that gives one the ability to teach a foreign language in any part of the world, there is no definitive authoritative figure when it comes to the implementation of technology and language learning and language teaching. There are a few organizations, however, that are highly regarded, well respected, that provide some ideas for standards, and these are ideas because technology changes and students learn better from different methods. So when teaching, we always need to be dynamic in our approach. So everything presented here is mainly ideas rather than strict guidelines. To start, let's look at some of the organizations which provide some of these ideas. The first institution is the TESOL International Association, or TIA for short. They were started in 1966 in hopes of creating a professional organization to bring educators in the TESOL field together. The next institution is the ISTE, or International Society for Technology. They created the NETS, or National Educational Technology Standards. This was a project funded by NASA in 1998 and has been consistently modified and updated since. The focus is on skills and knowledge that students need to learn effectively to communicate in the digital world. The next group is the American Council on the Teaching of Foreign Languages, or ACTFL. It was founded in 1967 to improve the teaching of foreign languages at all educational levels. And lastly, we have the ICT4LT, or Information and Communications Technology for Language Teachers. This is a project which was coordinated by Thames Valley University, providing free resources for language teachers. And this particular group focused mostly on how teachers can up their skills and regards to technology and how they can implement this and ideas for implementation in the classroom. The TIA has provided a framework for TESOL when it comes to technology. That's the document you see here on the right. The TESOL Technology Standards Framework is a 55-page document which just mainly presents ideas for standards in both high technology and low technology environments and everything between. The audience for this particular subject matter is students and teachers in both ESL and EFL settings, in face-to-face environments, online environments, or a combination of the two. Now, ESL and EFL, ESL being English as a second language, where English is taught in a country that the native language is English, and EFL being where English is being taught in a country that the native tongue is not English. So English is the general focus of this document. However, the ideas and standards presented here are mostly applicable to any foreign language classroom, whether it be English or any other language. The objectives and purpose is established by the TIA in their TESOL Technology Standards Framework document. The first objective is to provide guidance. That is, it's not a strict standard, as mentioned earlier. There's a lot of flexibility in the implementation of technology. Provide a foundation, ensuring that the teachers and students have a solid grounding in basic technological abilities. Provide the differences between basic and expert technological skill levels. And the two areas of purpose with their respective subcategories are to address learner-student standards and address teacher standards. Now, the purpose of the student standards for students is to know the expectations of technological prowess and evaluate course options. For parents and parent organizations to know if the objectives as outlined in the courses are being met, so they can support students at home and evaluate language programs. For teachers to know what is expected of them to help prepare students, utilize appropriate teaching methods and activities to meet objectives, to facilitate further ideas in the implementation of technology in instruction. For material writers and publishers, so they can develop materials that support achievement standards, create materials with tasks that utilize knowledge within those standards. And teacher education, to ensure that potential teachers understand student standards and how those standards can be implemented, provide instruction to students in the usage of technology, and assess technological prowess. For administrators and professional organizations to understand the importance of technology and language education and how to implement the technology in various contexts. For the purpose of teacher standards, for teachers to recognize the need for technology integration in teaching, expectation of implementation, and the need for lifelong learning. For the parents aspect, that's mostly similar to the student standards in the slide mentioned before. For students to recognize what to expect from their institutions and teachers. For material writers and publishers, it's the same. For teacher educators to evaluate candidates, integrate technology in the teacher training programs, ensure technology infrastructure is in place. And lastly, for institutional administrators, same as administrators in the student standards section. For professional organizations to advocate the usage of such standards, provide support in the development of tools to aid in the determination if standards have been met, provide materials, and lastly for educational policy groups to provide guidance and funding and provide guidelines for implementation. Here are the goals for language learners and students as outlined in the framework. Goal 1, language learners demonstrate foundational knowledge and skills in technology for a multilingual world. Goal 2, language learners use technology in socially and culturally appropriate legal and ethical ways. Goal 3, language learners effectively use and critically evaluate technology-based tools as aids in the development of their language learning competence as part of formal instruction and for further learning. So here are the performance indicators for Goal 1, Standard 1, which is this standard is that language learners can demonstrate basic operational skills in using various technology tools and internet browsers. So there's quite a few points here for them to demonstrate. This is clearly at the very basic level, operating devices, laptops, computers, using a browser, and for those who need it, accessibility options, Zoom for those who are visually impaired, Braille keyboard, etc. And so here's the Goal 1, Standard 1 example provided within the document. So here you have each vignette provides a situation which learning can occur. It outlines what can be accomplished and what should be done prior to instruction, as seen as the first row here. And then below that, there's a low resource, low access setting, which kind of outlines what you should do in the case of you don't have access to a lot of technology within the classroom. And below that, there will be even more. There will be an example for a mid-resource, mid-access setting, and a high-access, high-resource setting as well. Now here are the standards for language teachers. Goal 1, language teachers acquire and maintain foundational knowledge and skills in technology for professional purpose. Goal 2, language teachers integrate pedagogical knowledge and skills with technology to enhance language teaching and learning. Language teachers apply technology in record keeping, feedback, and assessment. And Goal 4, language teachers use technology to improve communication, collaboration, and efficiency. So again, similar to learner goals, teachers must demonstrate competence in each area. Competence is accomplished by evaluation through the use of the performance indicators. So you can see here is a kind of a low level basic area with, turning a device on and off, closing, resizing. This would be teacher standards, level 1. Kind of similar to students, the student areas, but more relevant to a teacher. So here we have Goal 2, Standard 3, and this is the example situation, example activity that's provided. So the students here in a low technology setting, the teacher basically makes use of what technology he or she has, which in this case being a cell phone, and they use the speakerphone to have a discussion. Students are given an assignment following the task. The International Society for Technology in Education has this to say when it comes to computer-assisted language learning. When considering the use of call, the first question should be asked is whether the instruction could be done equally well without the use of call. If the answer is yes, then it's probably not worthwhile to use the technology. The ISTE has provided the national standards for foreign language learning, and these are their ideas of what should be accomplished in a foreign language learning situation. And then they also provide the NETS S, which is the sort of activities which can be used to fall in line with the standards that they've set out. Here's a list of activities which can be used to accomplish some of the standards. So, for example, the cultures heading under Table 15.1 for the standards for foreign language learning. Gain knowledge and understanding of other cultures. The digital citizenship activity can be used to work towards this standard. The students use the internet and other digital materials to explore and better understand cultural and human issues in countries where the language they are studying is spoken. So the students gain understanding as defined by Standard 2.1 and Standard 2.2 under the Cultures heading by participating in this activity. The ACTFL does not have a set of standards when it comes to technology and language learning. However, they do have some viewpoints that are provided on their website. Technology can play an important role in language learning. That effectiveness of the use of technology relies on a qualified teacher. Technology is not a replacement for teachers. That is, institutions may consider cutting costs by just using technology available to teach a language, but there is no evidence that students will acquire a language through technology and without the guidance of an instructor. Lastly, we have the Information and Communications Technology for Foreign Language Teachers. This website has modules. It's not a set of standards, but the modules focus on the importance and practical applications of using technology in the classroom. They provide basic, intermediate, and advanced modules, from bringing teachers to just the most basic topics and basic skill levels to being prepared to go about and even create their own software, their own educational language learning software, and how to implement that into the classroom. And it also provides information on using technology to aid in assessment.